Let's bring in our panel now to talk more about the race in Iowa and what it could mean for the rest of the country. Joining us now is Javier Manjarres, managing editor of shark-tank.com. Finally got that one right, I think. And Rabin-Havt, former advisor to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and host of The Agenda. Gentlemen, it's great to have you both with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's get started here. Both candidates are trying to woo undecided voters in Iowa for this race, but recent polling shows them going neck and neck, getting a little bit tighter here. I know you guys have your favorites here, but Javi, let me start with you. What do you think is going to be the biggest deciding factor as we move in on these last 3 weeks before the midterms?
Well, I think they're just going to tie Braley to President Obama and his foreign and economic policy. Look, who's to think that Iowa would go towards either Republican or Democrat? The state has historically gone either way. You see this every 2 years, every 4 years in presidential primary elections. Again, it can go either way, but I think Joni Ernst will pull this one out. And if the Democrats don't watch out, she may pull the same thing she did those hogs to them, politically speaking.
Well, politically speaking. Well, Ari, let me ask you this, because the Democratic Party and some other sources have been pouring money in to campaign ads, specifically trying to make this race about Joni Ernst, calling her too extreme on the issues that affect a lot of Iowa voters, things like women's health, education, entitlements, and the like. Are Iowa voters just now waking up to who Joni Ernst is? Is her personality going to be her biggest detriment in this race at this point?
Well, I think the question is when Iowa voters go to the polls, who are they voting for? Are they voting against Barack Obama, or are they voting for one of their candidates? And that's what this race is about. And I think Democrats, are banking our strategy on the fact that voters will go to the polls and realize who Joni Ernst is, and realize they don't want to replace Tom Harkin, one of the best members of the Senate, with someone like Joni Ernst.
All right, I also wanted to ask you guys both about a poll, interesting poll that came out, a Des Moines Registered poll, which had Hillary Clinton trailing former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney. And of course, we know Hillary did not do very well in 2008 in Iowa against Barack Obama here. What is it about Hillary Clinton? And is this more about her in this poll or more about Mitt Romney? Javi, we'll start with you.
I think Mitt Romney, just because his name's been out there more than hers in the past couple of years, because he did run for president and lost in 2012. I think people are voters, and especially the Iowans, have buyer's remorse over re-electing President Obama, and they're maybe giving Mitt Romney a second look. But at the end of the day, who knows if he's going to run for president at all? But I think he is testing the waters.
Well, Ari, let me ask you, is Hillary Clinton setting herself up for another disaster in Iowa come 2016?
Well, look, I don't think there's any candidate who's setting themselves up to run against her seriously in the caucuses there. So, no, I don't think she's setting herself up for another disaster. I think when it comes to 2016, Hillary, if she decides to run, will run a very strong campaign.
What do you think she'll do differently this time around so she does not get surprised as she did with Barack Obama in 2008, Ari?
Well, first, not hire Mark Penn. And second, pay attention to actual voters on the ground and not take things for granted. I think a lot of the mistakes of the Clinton campaign were based on the fact that they took a lot for granted that they shouldn't have.
All right, and Javier, let me ask you this too, because now Clinton was trailing Mitt Romney, but she was also beating out a couple of other potential GOP presidential candidates, Rand Paul, Paul Ryan, and the like. What's your take on that position? She might be trailing Mitt Romney, but she's actually ahead of some other bold-faced Republican names.
Well, look, I think Hillary will be smart, and she'll actually turn on President Obama, even regardless of her being his Secretary of State for a couple of years. But her beating Rand Paul and the like as you say, that's expected. She's very popular. She's always going to be more popular than the Rand Pauls of the world. So I'm not surprised that she's ahead of them in that polling.
All right, well, we got a lot more to get to, guys. We're going to talk about this infusion of money coming from GOP super PACs. Will it be the difference coming up to this race? Of course, we got to get to the topics of Kansas and North Dakota. There could be some real surprises coming up in this Senate race. We're going to stick around and have Ari Rabin-Havt and Javier Manjarres come back for us for more of our political panel here on Newsmax TV. Some interesting stuff, guys, and thanks for your comments on Iowa, Hillary Clinton, and the prospect of maybe another Mitt Romney presidential campaign. We got some more insight to come from these two coming up right after this commercial break here. I'm John Bachman, sitting in for J.D. Hayworth today. Hopefully he'll be back in a couple of days for more on here on Newsmax TV. Much more ahead here. We return right after this commercial break. Our political panel continues after this.